There are rumors that China may be working on a sixth technology plane program that is remarkably comparable to its Western counterpart. Greater levels of the US Army are beginning to step up the ante as the rivalry between the two sides grows. I cannot tell you today what's going on in China except they're planning for their 20th National Party Congress in October. But I can tell you what's not happening. They're not having a debate over the relevance of 6th Gen air dominance. And I can also tell you they're on track. ACC Commander General Mark Kelly said during a roundtable with reporters at the Air and Space Force Association's Air, Space and Cyber Conference last week. These comments come at a time when the US is actively pursuing the Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program. A manned stealth fighter jet with 6th generation capabilities that are superior and by no means unheard of is at the core of the NGAD. The US Air Force needs to make sure we get to 6th Gen air dominance at least a month prior to our competitors. This is a sign of the concerns among many USAF higher-ups about a secret Chinese 6th technology development, about which nothing is known to the general public. The FC-31 Gerfalcon, a twin-engine 5th-generation aircraft now in the prototype stage, is the second 5th-generation fighter aircraft that China has been actively developing. Even more secretive than the majority of nations, including the United States, which has revealed little about its 6th-generation fighter program, is China. The American NGAD has been referred to as a system of systems, which means that numerous adjunct and auxiliary aircraft would be partnered with or supported by the manned aircraft. We are confident that it will be adaptable to new technologies, which can be added gradually without interfering with the aircraft's main flight system. According to Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall, the U.S. Air Force is currently on target to field its next-generation air dominance family of systems by the end of the decade, becoming the first 6th Gen fighter user. In 2020, the agency successfully test-flew a manned NGAD prototype. According to Kendall, the military may soon choose a manufacturer for the program. The initiative will be incredibly expensive and sophisticated, with the manned NGAD fighter costing hundreds of millions each unit, according to Kendall. It will also require the development of new armaments and maybe a variety of drones. The combination of all of these factors may result in timetable delays, narrowing the gap between US and Chinese timelines. According to a 2019 interview with Wang Haifeng, the chief designer at Chengdu Aerospace Corporation, China had been doing early research on a future technology fighter that would be able to defend the sea and sky by 2035. Although Wang did not go into detail about China's design, he did mention a few features that he believed will eventually set US fighter aircraft apart, such as the ability to use drones, the application of artificial intelligence, advancements in stealth, and omnidirectional sensors. China frequently converts one fighter jet into another, as it did with the J-16, a domestically produced aircraft based on the Russian Su-27 and Su-30, claims USACC Basic Kelly. American aircraft design stands out because it will become more functional in major ways. China's ambitious aim to put a 6th technology jet into flight by the middle of the 2030s is likely to fall short of what the US or the UK could have accomplished by that time. Beijing will probably delay catching up since it makes its most important advancements first. Next Generation Air Dominance Program, or NGAD, according to General Mark D. Kelly, the head of Air Combat Command, ACC, General Kelly expects that the highly secretive Chinese efforts will yield the same kind of air combat system of systems that the Air Force is pursuing, including a 6th generation manned fighter jet. As we have explored in the past, the NGAD program is much more than a 6th gen manned fighter. It's also planned to include collaborative drones to work alongside manned aircraft, plus new weapons, sensors, and communications architecture. The US Air Force wants NGAD to be fielded as real capability before 2030 and the Chinese are keeping pace, Kelly says. Kelly recently addressed the War Zone and other members of the media at the Air and Space Forces Association's Air, Space and Cyber Conference, providing his reflections on future Chinese air combat programs. One of the key takeaways from this is Kelly's belief that China looks at 6th generation air power, including future manned fighter aircraft, greatly the way we see it, an exponential reduction in signature, exponential acceleration of processing power and sensing. Another key factor is the ability to iterate improvements aided by open mission systems. That iterative approach should allow China to reprogram at the speed of relevance, Kelly contends. Moreover, the ACC boss points to China's existing experience in the iterative development of interconnected families of fighter jets, chiefly its reworkings of the Soviet-designed flanker series. China became the first export customer for the basic Su-27 in 1992 and by the time it bought the multi-role Su-30 MKK from Russia in 2000, it had produced Su-27s under license, as the J-11 and J-11A, before it began developing the homegrown J-11B with multi-role capabilities, plus Chinese engines and avionics. This, in turn, led to the two-seat J-16 that's essentially a Chinese version of the advanced Su-30 MKK. In the meantime, the carrier-based Su-33 got the same treatment, emerging as the multi-role J-15. Today, the development of successively more advanced versions of the J-15 and J-16 continues, including expansion into the electronic warfare domain. Interestingly, Kelly seemed to suggest a possible reason for China's surprise purchase of a relatively small batch of 24 Su-35s, arguably Russia's most advanced current flanker version. Noting that the Su-35 has 5th-gen avionics and 5th-gen speed, despite its otherwise 4th-generation status, Kelly said that its acquisition will make it a little easier when they go off the rung to their next fighter, that is to say, the transition from the 5th to the 6th generation. Since Beijing bought the Su-35, there's been much speculation as to why it might have placed the order. Some have suggested China wanted a closer look at the Su-35's thrust vectoring engines, as well as gain insight into one of Russia's frontline assets, its weapons and electronic warfare systems. The Su-35 has been used in dissimilar air combat training but also for operational long-range escort missions over the South China Sea. As such, a small buy of Su-35s makes a lot of sense for China, both in terms of comparing the latest Russian avionics and weapons with its own technologies, but also for developing highly agile aircraft and related tactics. A promotional video titled, "Above the Sky," released by China's PLA Air Force, PLAF, has sparked curiosity among military observers, according to the Global Times. It shows a model with a tailless aerodynamic design, which looks like a concept for an advanced warplane. The video poignantly depicts a scale model of the aircraft being put in a delivery service box by the daughter of a PLA Air Force pilot as a gift for her father, who is away from home for some mission. The aircraft model has no tails or vertical stabilizers and the primary wings appear to be incorporated into the back section of the fuselage, giving the aircraft a blended wing body shape, similar to that of a flying wing. Some Chinese military analysts also speculated that the aircraft model could be the long-rumored H-20 stealth bomber. It is worth mentioning that several designs proposed by American aerospace companies for U.S. next-generation air dominance, NGAD, show similar tailless features. The Eurasian Times recently reported on the sighting of a very odd airframe at Chengdu Aircraft Corporation's airfield. The mysterious aircraft first emerged earlier this year, adjacent to a standalone facility on the airfield's northeastern edge. The hangar was first observed in 2019, but it was part of a broader effort to expand and improve the airfield's northeastern section, as well as restructure its flight line. The aircraft looks like a huge customized diamond-shaped delta platform with a slender nose portion. The fact that it is plainly a tailless design is the most intriguing feature. The primary benefit of a tailless design is that it could significantly increase low observability against a wider number of radar types operating across a wide frequency range. It also improves a stealthy aircraft's radar signature reduction from the side and rear perspectives. A huge modified delta wing can carry a lot of gas and has enough room for a massive internal weapons bay. However, a major disadvantage is that without vertical tails, achieving stability is much more difficult, and mobility is hindered. However, this might be mitigated to some extent using thrust vectoring. Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group, the maker of J-20 Mighty Dragon, is said to be involved in the development of a 6th-generation fighter jet. Another Chinese company, Shenyang Aircraft Corporation, is more focused on improving indigenous derivatives of Soviet designs. According to Wang Haifeng, a chief architect at Chengdu Aircraft Research and Design Institute, new technology such as lasers, adaptive engines, hypersonic missiles, and swarm warfare could be included in the new aircraft. China would select some of these capabilities and add others that better suit China's needs, he added. According to other experts, the design looks quite similar to the unmanned X-44 Manta concept that never saw light. The airframe's wingspan appears to be similar in size to that of a J-20. However, the large size of the airframe isn't the most captivating aspect of it.